Good morning, everyone. It's Friday morning, and we're thankful for it. And before we go out on the weekend, I once again want to say thank you again for listening on this week. It means so much to me. And you all are very special in my life. Believing in someone or having someone to believe in you is a special thing. And I never want y'all to ever forget that, any of my viewers, because like I said, we may not have a large platform, but we do have one in which we can share, and we only have it because God made it that way. So I'm grateful once again. I'm thankful. I'm very appreciative for each and every one of you. And as you go into this weekend, I wanted to leave something with you on purpose, on peace, and our provider. Because I know that, just when we go from day to day, things, just life alone, we face things. So this morning, I want to talk to you about something that was brought to my attention when I was looking at that word provider. Provider. Who is your provider? And I say that God is my provider, and He's all of our providers, because we can't have anything without Him. But going beyond that, I look not only at the word as Him being my provider and your provider. He provides power. He provides power in each and every one of our lives. And so this morning, as I go through and try to dissect that word, the meaning of it, and how it's relative to other words, I just want you to follow me this morning and be encouraged and be inspired to continue to live your best life. You know why? Because you deserve it. So, first of all, I want to say we all have a purpose in life. We all have a purpose-driven life. You remember the book that was written by Rick Warren, The Purpose-Driven Life? Well, it is so true, because we do. We have a purpose-driven life. If we are the ones who are staying out front and not others are driving our lives for us. Because our provider gives us and equips us with everything that we need, the resources for us, finances, our places to stay, our vehicles to go and do whatever it is that we need to do. And most of all, He gives us a sense of being and the use of our mind. And I talked about our mind on yesterday, so I'm not going to go back into that. But I'm just saying the things that He has already provided for us. And if you're just sitting there this morning and you just think about those provisions, you and only you know, just like I'm the only one that know that everything that God has provided for me. I'm not talking about just the basic things in life, like food and shelter. I am talking about things outside of that God has provided for us. But again, let me get back on my subject title and go through of how this Him being your provider interjects and gives you power. You might ask that question of power over what? So let me break that down, dissect that for you. Power to provide resilience. Power of resilience. There's some things that in life you just knew you wasn't going to make it through, or you went through that trial in your life, but you made it, and through it, you sat up straight, you stood up straight, you didn't bend over so people could ride your back. You stood up straight. And you know what? When you stood up straight, you was able to take that next step. You was able next thing, and that is what we call resilience. And God provided that through his power. See how that comes in together? The provider equals power. He gave you that power to get through the various moments in your life, which we say is resilience. We need resilience to get through things. This situation and these current situations and future situations, we're going to need some resilience to get through. We're going to need to be able to continue pushing even when we feel like there's no end in sight. So you got the power to provide resilience in your life. Just think about that. Just think about all those things you've already overcome. Just think about all those tears that you've already shedded, but you were able to put them behind you because of your resilience. And now you have a testimony. You can tell somebody else how you made it over because you were resilient in that situation, in that time of turbulence in your life. You ever been on an airplane and every now and then they hit a turbulence? You can kind of feel it because the pain, the plane, it kind of shakes. You went through a turbulence and they kind of notify you that that's what we're getting ready to go through a turbulence. So when you in life have turbulence, you don't just go through it on a plane, you go through it in your individual life. There are some turbulence in your life, but you driving that plane, you behind that wheel, you making it happen. You know why you making it happen? Because you are resilient. You hold on even when you don't even know what the end gonna be. You keep fighting until you get to the end, because you can't get to the end if you give up. If you give up at the beginning, you'll never see the end, what it's gonna be like. So resilience, the power of resilience says to us, keep going. Get up, dust yourself off, and keep going. You know why? Because you have a purpose-driven life. Let's go to that next thing that I talk about and discuss our provider providing us power. Now, we go from power of resilience to, listen to this, power to rise to the top after being beat down by life circumstances. Isn't that something? You got the power to rise to the top after life have beat you down so many times. And all of us can say that. All of us can attest to that. You know why? Because all of us, nobody gets through life without going through some turbulence. Nobody gets through life without being on the bottom sometimes. Nobody gets through life without shedding some tears sometimes. Nobody gets through life without some pain sometimes. But here's the key. Our provider gave us power to rise. See there? Bet you didn't think about that. So many times, reflect back, look in your rearview mirror. Out of all those times that you failed, you rose up again to the occasion. You got it done. You got it done. I remember when I was in graduate school, and statistics is a very complex course. And I remember just crying. I even went bought the book, said Statistics Without Tears. Now, I had the book, but I was crying at the same time reading the book because I ain't really understand the book. Statistics Without Tears. And let me tell you something. I walked into the classroom and my professor was sitting there. And she said, Miss James, you're pretty early. I said, yes, I wanted to talk to you. And she was, basically saying, how you doing today? That type of thing that professors do. So I said, I don't believe I'm gonna make it through this course.
I'm trying to give it all I got, but it just seemed like I'm not doing as well as I want to do. And she said something to me that I never forgot to this day. She told me, in my country where I'm from, see, you don't know how blessed you are, because Americans sometimes, you all take advantage and fail to appreciate what's provided for you here. In my country, we don't have toilets. So you could only imagine that. It's a way that they have to deal with things, and the smell of sewage all the time. But here's the thing. She said, but I chose to rise above that and to go to school and to do better for myself. And I want you to remember this and to never forget it. She said, you never know how strong you are until strong is your only choice. Hear me now. You never know how strong you are until strong is your only choice. I can sit here and testify to that today. I made it through that class. I wanted an A, but I got a B, but I'm good with that because I needed that course in order to graduate from graduate school, to receive my master's. But I wanted to a part of me wanted to quit. And you know how sometimes you quit in your mind, but you don't really quit. You just quitting in your mind. And that is when we rise to the top, when we only quit in our mind, but we don't really quit. And if we are all honest with ourselves, we will say, there are times that I quit in my mind, but physically, I just could not quit. And you know why you couldn't? Because your life has a purpose. Because you are resilient, because you can rise to the top, and you have risen to the top, and you will continue to rise to the top because of who you are. You're powerful. You are very powerful. That has been provided to you. That has been interjected into you. And you're that because of your provider. Let me keep moving. You have power to overcome all the odds. You have power to overcome all the odds. Not just saying that today. You have already overcame some odds. You have overcame some things that people dared you to overcome. People said that you wasn't going to make it, but you made it through that situation. You made it through those different levels in academic. You made it through those different positions on that job. You made it through your marriage. You made it through your relationship. You made it in raising your children as a single parent. You made it. You overcame because he gave you the power. He gave you the power. You know why he gave you the power? Because he's your provider. He gave you the power to overcome. That's a good thing. I want to shout right now, but I'm going to keep going because I know what I overcame. I know I overcame people who doubted me. I know I overcame people who always had something to say about me. And I'm not just saying me. It's happening every day to a lot of people. Because that's what people do when they don't know your purpose. But you're resilient. You've risen. And you've overcame. Now we're going to go to this next level of power that you have. You got the power to value your life and to value the lives of those around you. You got that power. You know you valuable. You know you valuable. You know how you know you valuable? Because you keep on rising to the occasion. You keep being a part of. You keep getting involved. You keep being a piece of the puzzle because you know that who you are, and what you bring to the table is valuable. So you are of value. Never forget that. And because you recognize the power that you have in valuing yourself, you value others around you. Now, that don't have nothing to do with how somebody else value you. I'm talking about you valuing yourself, knowing who you are, knowing your self-worth. And guess what? You got to walk in that. And that's what you've been doing. That's exactly what you've been doing. So you ought to pat yourself on the back this morning. Tell yourself, I'm valuable. I know I am. I know I got this. You ever said that to yourself? I got this. You know why? Because you do have it. You do have it because you got the strength and the ability and the morale to rise to the occasion of any given situation in your life. Let's go to the next thing. You have the power to maintain your integrity. You don't let nobody change who you are just because they don't believe in who you are. You got that power to control your integrity. Your integrity, not somebody else's, your integrity. It don't matter. Because see, let me tell you something. People, from time to time, they won't understand your purpose. Most of the times they don't. You know why? Because you are purpose driven from a higher cause. That's why they don't understand it. That's why your vision belongs to you, not everybody else. That's your vision. They're not supposed to understand it. They don't have to get involved. You know why? Because that's your vision. That's your dream. That's your purpose that you're working through. The process. You got to go through the process. And sometimes in the process, there is some turbulence. There's some things that's going to go wrong. There's some things that you're going to have to go back and repeat. There's some things when you're trying to get to better, to fulfill your purpose, your dreams in life. Let me tell you something. Don't never, ever let go of your integrity, because your integrity speaks for you. It tells who you are. It shows people your character, who you are. A friend of mine told me that your character will stand. Who you are, no matter what somebody else go and say and how others define you, guess what? Your character speaks for itself. You know why? Because of the integrity that you have. The integrity, that thing about you that you don't let nobody change. No matter what's going on in your life, you stay the same. You maintain. And you can continue to treat others like you want to be treated. That's power. That's power when you can maintain your integrity. So if by now, we haven't even finished it, but if by now, if you have not told yourself that you are powerful, tell it to yourself now. You powerful. Don't let nobody tell you or take you in another direction away from your power. And don't you never give your power up to nobody. Now, let's keep moving. You got a power, listen to this, to dream and desire in your life. You got control over that, to the dreams and desires of your life. You got power over that. What are some of your dreams? What are some of your desires? You alone got power over that. You know, and the way that you maintain that power is the fact, listen to me closely. Listen to me closely. You don't tell everybody what you're doing until you've completed the project. That's where your power lies. Because see, sometimes you talking to your opposition and you don't even know it. You talking to people who don't want to see that come to fluorescent for you, and you don't even know it. So you keep the power in your area, on your field until after the fact. Now I'm going to tell y'all because it's done. See what I'm talking about? You got to keep power in your ball court. Understand me now. Understand me now. You're going to run into some turbulence, but don't get dismayed about it. Don't sit down on your dreams. Don't sit down on the desires of your heart, because God already gave you the power to make that come to fluorescence. And if we are all honest with ourselves, we saw some things come to fluorescence in our life that even we, from time to time, doubted. But guess what? Your provider never gave up on you, because he knew that you desired that thing or those things. Whatever it is that you're building. If it's a business, keep moving. If it's a family, keep moving. If it's just a thought right now, keep moving in that thought, because it will come to fluorescence. Okay? Next, you got the power to indulge in the necessary things at the necessary time. See, you got the power to indulge in whatever it is that you want to indulge in. And whatever you don't want to indulge in, you don't have to. You control that. See, you can go around a crowd when you want to be, and you can pull back from a crowd when you want to. Because sometimes there are some things and some people you got to not be involved with. And if you were, you got to pull away from them. Because guess what? The only way that some of these things in your life is going to come to fluorescence is you're going to have to let some things and some people go. And you got the power to do that. You got to understand your power. See, how people get us is because we don't understand our power, or we give it away. We give it away. So you got the power to indulge in what you want to, and you got the power to leave alone what you want to. And guess what? You don't have nothing to do with how somebody else feel about you. See, that's our problem. See, we so worried about how somebody else feel about us. But guess what? How somebody else feel about you is none of your business. That's none of your business. Because if you focus on that, you're going to give them the power, and you're going to lose power. You know what? Some of the things that I thought I failed at in life, those I didn't realize till later on that was powerful moments for me, because I was able to walk away from that thing, because after I look at it, that thing was designed to take me down, but I was removed from it. So that way, because I was removed from the circumstance, guess what? I got better. I'm better because of that. I didn't fail. I got better. Those what we call building blocks. That is what you call a build. Those are stepping stones. You got to keep moving. You got to keep indulging in the right thing, in the right situation. And some things, you got to leave them alone. You got to. And you know why you can do that? Because you got the power to do it. That power belongs to you. And you should never give that to nobody for no reason at all. Because some things that you look at as a failure is actually the best thing that could ever happen to you. Keep that in mind. Remember that. Sometimes, look back over your life, and you can say to yourself, some of those things that I thought I was a failure at ended up being the best thing that could have ever happened to me. Because if I had not been taken out of the equation in some of the things in my life, from around some of the people in my life, I would not be where I am today. Not only I can say that, but you can say that as well, because you're powerful. Another thing, let's move on. You have the power to return to him for restoration and peace. You got You got the power. You got it to make up in your own individual mind and say, I want to be restored back to the one who gave me everything that I have, to my provider, my soul provider, my heavenly Father. I got the power to return back to him. See, because just like you can make that decision to return, you can make that decision to walk away. You can make that decision to deny, but you got that power is in your hands. And what I'm talking about restoring a relationship. You got the power. Broken relationships. You got the power to restore your relationship and your peace. Sometimes we go so far in life that we can't find peace. But that is when we have to sit down and do an evaluation of ourselves, within ourselves, and search out for peace within ourselves. As I said earlier, we're going to have some turbulent moments in our lives. That's a promise. Trials and tribulations are promised in us, in our lives. But then our provider say, I've given you the power to get through all of that. It don't matter. It don't matter. It does not matter what somebody else thinks or feels. What matters about you is that you have been given power to control so many things and decisions in your life. You have a purpose-driven life. You have that. And you know what? Rick Warren wrote it in the book, but God wrote it in the script. Your life is purpose-driven. You are not just here by mistake. You have a purpose for being here. And along with your purpose, you have power. Your provider has given you power over so many things. And you know what? When God begins to restore your peace in you, like myself, I ask him for peace. When those turbulent moments come in my life, I need his peace. I need his direction, because I just lose my way sometimes. And we all are guilty of that. So my message to you this morning, what I'm trying to relate to you in these words of inspiration and encouragement this morning, is that our provider, through his power, has given us everything that we need to operate in this world that we live in. So we can't give up. Not only we can't give up, there's no reason for us to give up. But because there's nothing in life that someone else can do that you and I don't have the ability to do as well. So when we sit back and we marvel at others, and we say how wonderful others are, remember this: God has placed a wonderful in you as well. You wonderful. You are wonderful. And because he is, you are. Keep that in mind. Because God is, you are. Whatever you want to put on the end of that. You are wonderful. You are beautiful. You are powerful. You are a riser. You are resilient. You are an overcomer. You are valuable. You are a dreamer. You are an indulger. You are a restorer. You are those things. And most of all, you are because he is. You are. You are worthy. You have a purpose-driven life. So never forget that. Please never forget that. And you keep walking in your purpose. And I'm going to tell you, you're going to be better on the other side. So as I go out for this weekend, you go out for this weekend, get yourself some meditation in. I started that years ago and kind of dropped the ball. And then my daughter started doing it. And so I just piggybacked off of her and started doing it again. So I realized that meditation is very important for all of us. It helps us to connect with ourselves. And it helps us also to release some things. So I'm going to ask you over the weekend to please do some meditation. Get some meditation in for yourself, okay? And just never forget who you are and how powerful you are. And you have a wonderful and a safe weekend. Love you all, and I'll see you on Monday morning. Take care. Bye-bye.